Honestly, studying German wasn't something that was on my radar for a long time until I got the opportunity during my senior year of high school to study abroad in Germany through the CBYX program, which is sponsored jointly by the State Department and the German Bundestag. So before, I had not left the country before at all, and threw myself into a tiny wine village on the Rhine, and started a German high school, complete language immersion with my host family, all because I wanted to do something new, and it happened to be German, but then I ended up falling in love with it and really just enjoyed the language, enjoyed the process of learning the language, just being a part of a new culture, just a lot of new experiences. And so then I knew that after I came back from that study abroad that I wanted to continue my studies at DePaul. And when I took my first class with Professor Eugene Sampson, I knew that it was something I wanted to keep pursuing, which ultimately led to my double major. It's so hard to pick a favorite class, but I do have a soft spot for German 201 because that was my first German class at DePaul where I met some of my best friends. I really just got introduced to the program and to the German department as a whole at DePaul, because previously when I was self-studying German or taking some classes that were through my local university when I was in high school, I had some bad experiences with some professors. And so being able to see this department that was so welcoming, being able to be a part of a classroom that was so collaborative, where I felt totally comfortable raising my hand and just answering, even though I wasn't fully sure of the answer, which is something that was crazy for me. I am not the type of person to raise my hand in class unless I've got a fully formed answer. I know it's going to be right. And so the fact that I was like, I'm just trying this out. I'm going to, say what I want, even if I feel a little silly. And that was welcome and encouraged in the class. So I really, really enjoyed that. That class that year, the topic was coming to terms with the past. So we ended up reading Mouse. That was really, it was a really good experience of talking about history, but then also looking at what that means for us in the future, a really prevalent topic to be focusing on now. So it was just great to learn that in a collaborative environment. I got involved with German Club very early on in my experience at DePaul. I actually ended up being vice president during my freshman year and then moved on to being president up until I graduated. And I just really loved feeling like I was part of the department, like my choices mattered, like I played a role in helping other people discover, what DePaul offered in terms of the German department. So whether that's hosting events, we have our twice weekly Stammtisch, or we have bigger events like Swiss Night, that's a collaboration between clubs, to really just involve the campus community in obviously we're a pretty niche department, a pretty small department at DePaul, so being able to play a role in getting the word out and helping people know what we offer was really interesting for me. And then also just meeting people. It's really cool to meet people who are interested in learning the language. German, we've got all different, it seems like a lot of people will double major, and so you've got a lot of people that have, they're majoring in film or communications or business, and so being able to all meet on common ground but have interesting things to talk about and learn from each other was really cool. I could probably talk about studying abroad in Vienna over and over to anybody who would be willing to listen. I would say that was probably my favorite experience during my time at DePaul. I was lucky to be able to study the fall of my sophomore year, so pretty early on in my DePaul career. And the second I stepped in Vienna, I knew it was the place for me. I just had so much fun, and having my previous study abroad experience in Germany, I think really helped me to really appreciate the experience, because I didn't have any crazy culture shocks. It was something I was already familiar with. But I love the opportunity to take classes in Vienna about Austrian history and literature while living there. And so being able to, walk through the city center and be like, oh, I learned about this building in my history class. Yeah, so just being being able to be there while learning about everything was so cool to me. And we also had such small class sizes. It felt very personal. Really fun excursions to museums, everything like that, where I felt really connected to the professors there. And then it was such a small community where we all would eat dinner in our dorms together and really just feel like we were a part of a fun little group. But I would encourage anybody, if you have the opportunity to study abroad, to do it, because coming back from that and then continuing for 2.5 more years at DePaul, it really shaped my experience and shaped my perspective to have that broader worldview of like, okay, there's more out there, and like really shaped my experience at DePaul going forward. I'm sure everyone will say this about their departments, but I think the German department is very close-knit. It feels like a little bit of a little family where your professors know you not just as a student, but really as a person, where they're people that you can go to as a sounding board to talk about future plans or really anything that's going on in your life. I know one of my favorite traditions is our end-of-year party for the graduating seniors and members of the German Honor Society, where you get to eat dinner with your professors and just chat about life. And it really felt like, okay, we're out of the classroom, we know these people as people, and they're people that we can go to really rely on and to talk about really just anything. So I was really grateful that I had that as part of my college experience, because I know with my other major, which is film, which is obviously a much larger community at DePaul, having the German department and having those personal relationships was really important to me. Well, I think with any language learning, you have to get comfortable being outside of your comfort zone, and to really, it's hard to feel comfortable, feeling stupid, but that's the only way you're going to learn. Because if you don't speak, if you don't try, you're not going to be able to process the language and have it make sense to you. In terms of more DePaul specific, I of course have to plug going to German club events, just to really be involved in that community, to talk with other students who are learning the language in more of a low stakes environment. You're not in a classroom. We've got events that are language-based, so you'll be able to still practice those language skills, but then also cultural events where maybe you're a beginning learner and you just want to get involved in the community. That's kind of an easy way to enter into German at DePaul. And then, of course, study abroad. If you're able to work in studying abroad into your time at DePaul, I strongly urge you to, and I urge you to talk to your advisors, because I thought that I wouldn't be able to study abroad. With my other program being a BFA, it was more strict on elective credits and things that could count, and what things could count for. But I ended up being able to work with my advisors to have classes double count, and even ended up graduating early. So really try to make sure that it can work for you. But if you can't get it to work, then it was my favorite experience at DePaul, so I would urge anyone to do that.